Imagine a city where gold was as common as dust. This was Babylon, the superpower of the ancient world. Ruling over it was King Nebuchadnezzar, a man whose ego was as big as his empire. He wasn't satisfied with ruling the land. He wanted to rule the soul. So he built a statue, 90 feet of pure gold, a monument to his own glory. He gathered the governors, the judges, and the elite to the Plain of Dura. The rule was simple. It didn't matter what you believed in your heart. It didn't matter where you came from. When the music played, you hit the dirt. If you didn't, you would be thrown into a blazing furnace. It was the ultimate test of loyalty. Fear against faith. The orchestra began to play. A wall of sound hit the crowd. Like a wave, thousands of people collapsed to the ground. It was a sea of submission. To remain standing in that moment was treason. It was suicide. But in the middle of that ocean of bent backs, there were 3 islands. Pause for a second. Imagine the pressure. Everyone is looking at the ground, but you know that in a few seconds, the guards are going to look up. And you are going to be the only thing standing. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were young men. They had government jobs. They had a future. But they remembered the first commandment. You shall have no other gods before me. They knew that kneeling to the statue was kneeling to a lie. So they stood. The king was furious. His face twisted with rage. He had these 3 men brought before him. He couldn't believe his eyes. Is it true? He demanded. Do you not serve my gods? He gave them one last chance. When you hear the music, fall down and worship. But if you do not, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. And then he asked the question that set the stage for a miracle. And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands? Listen to their answer. It is one of the boldest statements in history. They said, O king, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. But then they added the 3 words that define true faith. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods. They didn't bargain with God. They didn't demand a rescue. They just demanded of themselves that they stay faithful. By the way, if you find these stories of courage inspiring, please consider subscribing. Animation takes a long time to make. Now, let's enter the fire. Nebuchadnezzar lost his mind. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. It was so hot that the mighty soldiers who marched the 3 men up the ramp collapsed and died just from the heat radiating off the door. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell into the roaring flames, fully bound in their coats and turbans. The king sat back, satisfied. No one survives that. But then the king stood up in shock. He rubbed his eyes. He looked into the fire, and he didn't see 3 dead bodies. He saw 4 men, walking, unbound, unharmed. Did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire? He asked. True, O king, his counselors replied. But I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. The king called them out. They walked out of the furnace, and get this, they didn't even smell like smoke. The fire had only burned the ropes that bound them. It set them free, but it didn't touch them. But who was the 4th man? Many scholars believe this was a theophany and appearance of Jesus Christ before his birth. God didn't put out the fire. He did something better. He stepped into the fire with them. Just as he was with Joseph in the prison, and with Israel at the Red Sea, he was with them in the flames. Nebuchadnezzar had to admit, there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way. We don't face golden statues today, but we face pressure. The pressure to agree with the crowd. The pressure to compromise your values for a promotion or popularity. The pressure to bow to the culture. Here is your fireproof faith checklist. First, expect the fire. Second, trust God's ability. And third, trust God's sovereignty. You have to know that standing for truth will bring heat. But you also have to know that you are never standing alone. The same God who walked in the furnace is walking with you through your trial. So when the music plays and the world bows ... stand tall. If you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to do so. It really helps us continue providing you with amazing videos like this. God bless you.